Oh, hey there. Welcome to our weekly HDI local chapters live stream show. Today, the show is brought to you by Robert Half Technology. Robert Half helps companies build, deploy, and operate technology in the digital world by placing highly skilled IT professionals on a contract, to a project, or on a full-time basis. If you're interested in their candidates, or if you're looking for a job, or maybe you just want some additional hiring and career insights, go online at roberthalf.com/technology. Okay, so let's get started with our show this week. Oh my goodness, I even have the screens wrong. See, I love this. Guys, I got the stuff backwards here. Here we go. Okay, so let me introduce our guest. Today, our guest is TJ Kinion. TJ is a California native who studied marketing and finance at Boston College, then resided in Denver, Nashville, and Toronto before returning back to that West Coast. He has worked in tech for almost 10 years and is currently at LearningFuze, the oldest and top rated coding bootcamp in Orange County. In addition to helping people make career changes into tech, he is involved with Startup Grind Irvine, the Elite OC, and in his free time, he tries to escape to the outdoors when possible. TJ, that's my own heart. I love hiking. I love getting in the woods. I love RVing. So, welcome to the show. Um,
Thanks.
Today, our discussion is about the future of education post COVID-19. I mean, we're almost there, right? That vaccine's coming out, and we're going to have hopefully a better 2021. So let's start and talk about like what it's going to look like. So we'll start with the obvious one. TJ, what does it look like for like college, 2 year degree, community college, or a 4 year degree?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting right now. Now, not for the best of reasons. Colleges had a little bit of a hit, obviously, with COVID. And, on top of that, a lot of their business models are now going to have to change. And then, in addition, they're seeing lower and lower numbers from, international students as well. So hopefully, for any parents out there or future, parents like hopefully myself will see, college tuition is going to become more and more reasonable. Now, I also think that colleges are going to have to rethink the approach that they're taking and start to bring in a little bit more of, a dynamic learning environment, which is something that we saw some colleges do really, really well when they had to move virtually, and others almost, just kind of give up. Quick little anecdote. My brother had a teacher at, his California State School who stopped teaching when things went virtual and said, the grade you have right now is the grade that you're going to get. Because he was not ready. So my brother probably should have studied and prepared a little bit more for the first test instead of waiting till the final.
And it's funny you say that. My son is he's his senior year of college, and he goes to one of the state schools here in Pennsylvania, and they have done a pretty good job of it. But you have a few of those professors that are just, they struggled with it. I know he had one that just it struggled really bad at trying to keep up on it with the students. Now, me, I'm coming from a university that invents technology. I mean, I'm just saying, uh, we did a pretty good job of it. We struggled here and there, but I think we did a pretty good job of it. But I agree with you. I think that, you know, we even talk like from the HDI local chapters. We talk about conferences and stuff. We talk about local chapter meetings, and we said, we've been talking for years about we need to go virtual. People that can't go to drop in, to get away from work, and it was kind of like, I don't know, but COVID, it played that, it forced that, and now even from HDI themselves and other organizations that are running conferences, they're talking, well, when we do go back, we're still going to have a virtual component
Yep.
for people that that maybe can't make it or don't feel comfortable coming into those big groups and big
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And, I think one of the other things too is, as and the HDI community knows as well, that there is something special about being in person. And, when you are an 18-year-old, 19, 17, whatever age you are, coming out of high school and getting ready to think about college, a big portion of what you're looking forward to is being around other people. And let's be honest here, there's going to be some partying involved as well. And now you're saying, hey, you need to stay at home and take these classes virtually. And oh, by the way, you're going to pay the same tuition. And once again, I completely understand the position that colleges were put
yeah,
into, because they have these huge dormitory and, staff costs that they've built their entire, kind of business model around. But they're going to have to rethink it. They're going to have to adjust and pivot. And, I don't think there was any question that the education industry is, something in the education, world is something that, is ready for change.
No, you're right. And I always say, because I've worked in two stints of almost a decade each in one in the community college and one at the university now. And I always say they're 8 to 10 years behind the rest of the world in catching up to those kind of things. And, talking from that personal experience, one of the things I think the colleges are going to have to, to that adapt thing is, like, I know for my son, he was working on a group project, and he's in mechatronics, which is like a robotics type field, and it's hard to do that virtually, and and so they're going to have to think about that, because this well, we'll talk about new normal and that, but the new normal may be that there are people that don't feel comfortable, and there's other reasons that they'd rather do virtual. I mean, work from home. We're gonna have a smackdown here in February. I think it's February, where we're talking about working remote versus working in the office. The same could be said for college students. Some like the virtual experience. Maybe they didn't think they did, but now that they had to do it, they may like it. What about trade schools?
Yeah, I mean, I think trade schools and I guess we can kind of, bring community colleges back into the equation are a great route for people. One of the things that we're seeing more and more of is the fact, and at least personally in my business, I'm talking to a lot of people who are making career changes. And typically it's because of the fact that as an 18-year-old, they were asked to make a decision that would be what you're going to study and do the rest of your life. And it's a little bit misleading by, kind of the colleges to market it in that sense. I'd be interested to hear, and people are probably thinking to themselves, yeah, my English degree, and now I'm working in tech. Exactly.
So I'll tell you, when I went, I didn't know what I was going to do after high school, and I just felt I had to go to college because that was the thing to do. So I went to a business school and got a 2-year degree in accounting because I liked math. Had I known that the real math that I liked is more coding and programming, I went into accounting, and I got into my first job was payroll, and I went, this is not what I want to do. So I ended up going and finding the thing I wanted to do on my own. So you're so true about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where I think, one, community colleges are a great route. It gives a young person, an opportunity to not make a huge financial commitment and still kind of get an opportunity to take a few different classes, see what they really do enjoy, and then maybe make a larger commitment after that. And especially right now, if instead of paying, 50, 60,000 for a 4-year degree, why not go to a community college? Yeah. COVID opens up, and then you can make the jump. And then switching gears to trade schools, trade schools are a great route for people who need to get into the workforce and want a little bit more of a direct route, because some colleges and universities measure themselves based off of their outcomes and how many students get jobs. More of them will tell you what their graduation rates are, which graduation's great, but I can tell you the last email I got or message I got from Boston College was, hey, we're doing another donation campaign. Can you make it? And, like ourselves, everybody who comes to us says, well, what are your students getting job wise? And so that's a great route for people, who may be in a little bit more of a financial pickle, is to say, I could go down, the plumbing or, an electrician or, an automotive trade route, because those aren't going away.
No, in our last technology in education segment we talked about with Terry Oropeza about, because I know like out in San Francisco they're doing it, and I know over here in Pennsylvania, so I'm guessing a lot of them, the community colleges are teaming up with the local trade unions and shops, and they're coming up with an associate's degree to go along with your journeyman degree or whatever you want to call it. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, kind of leads into where I think the future of education will be, which is in these micro credentials. And, instead of once again going out, getting a 4-year degree where let's say we'll play it safe, 50% of the classes you're never going to use again. I mean, that seems like probably a low number there. And instead being able to once again kind of take these micro credentials, and probably the HDI community is very familiar with them. You've got the CompTIA, and it's a great, kind of marriage of certification and learning. Now, of course, you have to add in the actual hands-on experience of it as well. And that's where, a lot of these community colleges and universities are beginning to partner with trade schools and say, well, we can't change as quick as the industry is because we've got all these, certification kind of accreditation rules, but we can partner with you and you guys can change quickly. We can still keep the name and the brand.
Exactly. So Now let's move on to a little bit of the older generation. I think you had a term for this. I'll let you
The
say it.
modern elders.
The modern elders, yeah. Let's talk about professional development for the folks that are out of college in the workforce but want to find something different, something new, or to move up in their career.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we all are aware, there is so much stuff out there online. It's amazing, and it's unfortunately, it's a little bit, of a trap if you don't have a plan, and a support system in place. I think a lot of people like to think of themselves as accountable, or when I set myself to a goal, I'm going to do it. Well, unfortunately, the MOOCs, the massive online open courses that are out there that were first created by Harvard and MIT, have about a 5% completion rate. And we're talking about, two pretty impressive schools here that still haven't been able to figure out how to get more people to finish those. So it's a great thing to look into, but you can't rely on that to be, your just automatic jumping point, to where you want to get to. And personally, I think one of the best things you can do is to get out there and network and talk to people who are in the space that you want to be in. Because as soon as you start making those connections, they're going to give you kind of the path laid out. And, why not ask for help when needed? It's great to tackle something on your own, but you're not asking for a handout. You're just asking for a little guidance.
Yeah, and I know this that may not fall in line with totally like the education thing, but mentoring and coaching is definitely something I would say, because I do mentor some folks, and I was mentored. That's how I got into what I do. I told you I started in accounting, and then I moved over into a print room and worked my way around, and I got coached and mentored. And I think that that has a lot, and you need more than one too. You need a few mentors, and talk to people about what it is. And that's what we're kind of hoping the show will do for folks, is help hear from different people on what's out there. There's more to the technology field than professional gaming and professional YouTubing. And we want to help people get out, to learn all of that. So I agree. Well, you know what, TJ, I warned you that this show goes quick, and we are already at the end of the show. So, I want to move along to just thank you for being on the show, taking time out of your schedule, and want to remind the audience out there that to find out more about HDI local chapters, the website link is on the screen. And if you're interested, you can email me at tomwilkhdi@gmail.com if you're interested in hearing about different, whatever kind of subjects or topics you want to talk about. And we're going to call it a day. Thank you, TJ.
Yeah, no worries, Tom. This is fun. I'm glad I was able to connect with you. And as we discussed, when things open back up and you're able to make it to the West Coast, we'll have to circle up with Brandon and have a drink.
Absolutely. Hopefully, I think I'm heading out that way 2022, but maybe sooner. So
what's nice about that time is the weather's beautiful.
Yeah. That is so true. In Southern California, I used to live near San Diego. Oh, I miss it. So, hey. All right, everybody, that's it. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.